Hey guys, it's Dominique Stone. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is episode 3 of my new series on my YouTube channel that's titled Healing Hoes Ain't Hating, because we just simply not. This video I'm going to be speaking about my first spiritual awakening, like how because I had multiple awakenings, but I would like to speak about when I started to notice and different things. And I want to talk about religion and spirituality. So, all right, let's just kind of get into it. All right, guys. So if you're new here, thanks for coming. If this is not your first time here at this video, I appreciate you guys returning back. My name is Dominique Storm, and I basically, I'm on a spiritual healing journey, and I would like to share things that I'm learning and stuff like that about myself. This may not be what's working for me, may not necessarily work for you. I also would like to give 2 warnings. The first warning is ho, it's like in a word of endearment, just like, hey girl, hey ho. That's what I mean. It's harmless. The second thing is, if you're triggered by anything that I'm saying, it's I believe it's for 2 reasons. Either one, you're not supposed to be here because you don't like me, so whatever I'm gonna say, you're not gonna like it anyway. Or the second reason is just something that you may, need to address or not, but those are my warnings. All right, guys, so the first thing I want to speak about is what are my definitions or how I view religion versus spirituality. So I grew up a Christian, someone believing in Christ, Jesus Christ. I went to Catholic school from kindergarten up until 5th grade. I did 4th grade for the first time, and then I went back for 5th grade, and I did half a year. So whatever that means, that's how long I was in Catholic school. So in Catholic school, our first subject, everybody in the building, our first subject was religion. I believe it was like at least once a month we had to go to the church. We had our own parish, so we had to go to the church. So even though I went to a Catholic school, my family were probably more like Baptist. I'm not too sure. But, we grew up in a household loving Jesus, and, that's what I did what I was told. And that's, so that's how I grew up. Also, like, at a certain time, my mom really got into church. She used to, force me and my sister to go to church. And as time went on, I just kind of religion never really settled with me after a while. Like, in my teenage years, it didn't make sense. I used to say that I was an atheist. Like, I'm absolutely not an atheist, but I used to say shit like that when I was a kid. I just never understood. I'm like, so why dinosaurs are not in the Bible? I used to always question my mother. My mother used to go to Bible studies and stuff like that. She got like an associate's, bachelor's in religion, whatever, in school. Like, she done graduated mad times from church. Like, so I used to like quiz her and stuff like that, and whatever answer she would give me, I would never really feel I never felt fulfilled from the answer. As I got older, I started to have my own thoughts on religion. So where I stand with religion right now, I just feel like, I hope this makes sense too. I feel like religion is like a toolbox, right? And certain people need certain tools, or certain people need certain ways of hearing things. So like, let's say it's 5 different toolboxes, and these 5 different toolboxes represent different religion, right? In this toolbox, the instructions might be in English, and this one, it might be in Spanish, or this one, they have like a visual of how to do whatever you need to do. On the other one, it might be a video. So I just kind of feel like it's all kind of repeating a lot of the same thing. It's just like, what do you identify with at this time? And spirituality, I never knew much about spirituality growing up. I was taught, like certain things like, voodoo and witchcraft aren't real if you don't believe in these things. And so it was just things I never got into. I always thought spirituality equates to something bad. Like, if it ain't Jesus, if we ain't talking Jesus, you're a bad person and you're going to hell. I remember like having a friend, even as an adult, he was like, nah. And I'm just like, is you sure? Like, Jesus is listening. And you saying X, Y, and Z, like, you is crazy. He can hear you. And, okay, so let's get back. All right, so I never really, knew much about, like, spirituality and stuff like that. But for whatever reason, as a child, I was always interested into, like, spooky, scary, not like scary movies and stuff like that, but like witchcraft shit. Like, The Craft was one of my favorite movies growing up. Matilda, Hocus Pocus, what up, Sabrina the Teenage Witch, The Addams Family. Anything that had to do with like somebody being a witch or magical or mystical, like for whatever reason, that was my thing. Like I always been into, like into stuff like that or whatever. So that's basically how I grew up. I grew up in a semi-religious household. I wouldn't say religious, like, you can't wear this, you can't wear that, but, we grew up loving Jesus. I mean, I grew up loving Jesus, and that's what I was taught. All right, so now I'm going to kind of, like, go back. So I had my first child at 18, and I believe that at that time, hopefully all of this is going to, like, full circle is going to make sense when I bring it back around. So I had my first child at 18, and I didn't realize it at the time. I actually just kind of realized it recently, actually I'm lying. I didn't realize it at the time, but I did realize it as time went on, that I had her at 18 for a specific reason. I was heading down a path that could have went either way. It could have went good or it could have went bad. So when I had her, I decided, when I was pregnant, I made a decision that I wanted to have my child. And I decided like certain things for myself that I wanted to do and, for her. So I feel like that was my first major change in my adult life, 18. Because I even like, it's some people that, I have more than one person came to me and they said to me like, wow, I would have never expected you to be a good mother. I guess I was that kind of a shitty human that they thought that I was going to be a terrible mom. I didn't take any offense to it, but I'm just trying to give you a little background of, So my first daughter, she completely like changed my life. Like things that I used to care about, I stopped caring and I like really like focused on like, you know what I mean? So she was like, I want to say like my first spiritual awakening. Then at 28, 10 years later, almost exactly 10 years later, I get pregnant again. And I feel like that pregnancy, my daughter as well, my second daughter, I feel like that pregnancy opened me up. That was like the second one. So at this time, I'm pregnant and I'm on bed rest. So I can't really interact with the humans like, as much as I want to. So I had to spend a lot of time alone. And this is probably like the first time in the history of, in my adult history. So that's from 18 or 21 up into 28 that I'm actually sitting down with myself, wanting to know things. Because it's like, it's nothing else for me to do but to sit down. So at that time, a friend of mine a person that I was friends with at the time, we used to communicate a lot. And they were educating me on things that I didn't know about, like, African culture and things like that. And I like to consider myself a pretty intelligent human being, but these are things that I weren't aware of, like about the Moors and different things like that. And I felt very like I was super interested in that. So I'm the type of person, I'm sure I said it mad times, like once I love an idea, like something catches my mind, I want to know as much as possible about it. So I started to like really, 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 really dive deep, and I realized like, wow, Christianity was not African spirituality. It wasn't a religion for Africans. Africans were more spiritual, more into nature and things like that. And I just want to go back from that. I always loved like nature, trees. I always loved the beach. I always loved the water. these are things that I loved as a child that I didn't realize that it was gonna be playing a role in my life today as well. Like spirituality for Africans, it was more like, you know, nature based and astrology and different things that, you know, are like frowned upon in some religious sectors. So me doing my research, I started to feel more connected to spirituality versus religion, because I feel like for me, spirituality is allowing me to be me and is allowing me to govern myself and to protect myself and my family. And you know that there are people that, you know, take spirituality to a whole nother level, and they be out here trying to change people's lives around, but that's a whole nother story. And if you into stuff like that, you should really stop. It's not nice. And you never know, like, who family is protecting them, like, who ancestors are actually taking care of them. So I just really wish that people would don't do that. I mean, well, do what you want to do, but if you're new to this shit, don't do that, all right? But that's another story. This is me now after being 28. And, well, I'm 28. And so I started to, like, you know, so this is me. I'm 28 now. I'm pregnant. I'm embarrassed. I have all this information that I'm armed with. And I'm just like, wow, what the hell? I feel like, I just feel like I've been lied to my whole entire life. Not saying that religion, you know, one is better than the other. I just feel like certain things is for certain people. And I just felt like this is something that feels more comfortable and more at home to me. So after all of this information, I started really questioning everything, and I really started to question myself. And that's how I started to really, that was like the opening, the beginning, right? So let's say I had 2 awakenings that at the time I wasn't even aware of happening. So we got the first daughter birth at 18, the second daughter birth at 28, and now time is going on, time is moving by. So 2020, I'm 33, I believe. Yeah, I feel like I was 30. Yeah, 33. Okay. So I started questioning everything, and it made me want to just do some more research. And doing, you know, different research and stuff like that, I started to wanted to like work more on myself. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was just like one thing, then it was another, then it was like, I don't know, it was really interesting. Then, you know, I mention this all the time. After the passing of my father, that's when things really took off. So I feel like as a child, I've always been intuitive. I feel like I've been here like on earth multiple times. You know, obviously as somebody else, not as Dominique. But I feel like even when I was a kid, I always had a knowing of things. Like, I didn't even, like, how I know this, I don't know, but I just know. I've always been like that. I've always been at the right place at the right time. And sometimes I've been at the wrong place at the wrong time. But it was always, like, me and my friends would do something. And then for whatever reason, I'll go to school the next day, and then my friends end up getting picked up by the boys or something like that. Like, but I'm in school now. Like, so I always kind of been like, I always been intuitive. And after my father died, I feel like those gifts have been enhanced, and I've also received more. So it's just really, you know, cool and interesting. This is just something that's, you know, is still spanking new to me, even though it started, you know, over 17 years ago. I mean, probably since I've been on this earth, but that's as far as I can go back. So yeah, so, you know, my spiritual awakening, yeah. So I think the third one took place when my father passed away. So we got the first one when my daughter was, when I was pregnant at 18, the second one at 28, and then at 33 when my dad died. So yeah, so it's been a interesting journey, but I wouldn't change much. For this video, if you do, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.